Hello folks, this is Mike, PC31 the Vinyl Policeman, and this is a contest entry video. It's for a Vinyl Martini for Jack, and Jack's currently on 182 subs last time I looked, and this contest is to get Jack to 200. Jack will get there really soon. He's got a fantastic channel, shows great stuff. He's a really nice guy. I think Jack's in Victoria, British Columbia, so from where I am in the UK, he's right across the other side of Canada. But Jack, the prize for this, Jack's come out with a really good idea actually. He supports his local food bank, and Jack's going to donate $100 to the local food bank as the prize money. So really worthy cause, fantastic, really good idea. What you need to do with this one is to select 3 to 5 solo records. So basically solo records of when that particular artist was still in a band. So Jack gave the example, I think, of Sting, which wouldn't apply because Sting didn't release any solo albums until he left the Police, so that wouldn't count. So got to be albums released while the artist was still playing with their band. So I've got 5 I'm going to show today. All of my artists come from 3 of the biggest bands ever, and you'll soon see who they are. 3 of the artists come from one band, so I don't know if I've cheated there, but it all works out okay. So the first one is from the biggest band of them all, the first solo album from a Beatle while they were still in the Beatles, and this is the soundtrack album by George Harrison, Wonderwall music, and this was released 1st of November 1968, so it was released just before the White Album. I think the White Album was 22nd of November 1968, so this was just earlier on in the month. And obviously this makes it because the official breakup time for the Beatles was the 10th of April 1970. Paul on the steps of his home in St John's Wood. So this is the first one. The sessions for this were in London and Bombay, and I actually quite like this music because I really like Indian music, sitars, and the whole feel, the whole ambience of Indian music, and this was crammed full of it. So it's Indian style. Most of it is instrumental. There's bits of chanting and things. It's also experimental, a bit of psych rock. There are kind of Western guitars in it as well. But I think it's a really good album. It's the one playing in the background now. So the actual film, the soundtrack it was from, was about a professor who was obsessed with a beautiful model next door to him, which in the film was played by the stunning Jane Birkin. So, okay, so that's George Harrison, Wonderwall. And obviously, a few decades later, Noel Gallagher named a song after this particular album. But that's my first one, George Harrison, Wonderwall. So, my second one, as I say, is from another colossal band, Dave Davis of the Kinks, and this is Chosen People. I think Dave Davis had difficulty getting this out with the actual label, but it came out on the 1st of August 1983. It was sandwiched between State of Confusion and Word of Mouth, so it was the Arista years for the Kinks. It's an interesting one. It was his 3rd solo album, and the first 2, I think David played most of the instruments himself. I think he produced them himself as well. But this one has got a full band behind it, studio-wise. It's co-produced, so Dave's got somebody else in the studio with him. But it's kind of more emotional and considered than the first 2, more ballads, not as rocky as the previous ones, quite melodic, and it's really well sung. There's some good songs on this one. So Dave Davis, Chosen People, while Dave was still in the Kinks. So my next 3 are from one band, and I've seen a few videos for Jack's contest so far, and nobody's mentioned this band yet, so I'm really shocked because I thought a lot of people had jumped on this, so I'm first in, hopefully. So the first person for that band, album released while he was still in the band, Ronnie Wood. So This is Give Me Some Neck, Ronnie's third solo album, released on the 20th of April 1979. And this was sandwiched between Some Girls and Emotional Rescue. And of course, Some Girls, just before this, was Ronnie's first full album. I think he played on one track on Black and Blue, but Some Girls was his first one where he was recognised as a member of the Stones. So this was sandwiched between that. So he was definitely in the Stones at the time. Interesting enough though, Charlie's on drums, Keith on guitars, Mick does backing vocals. So it's a very Stones-ish album. So Ronnie, solo album while he was still in the Stones. So you know what's coming. Mick's debut album, 19th of February 1985, She's the Boss. She's the Boss. So this was made in Nassau. It did really well actually. It got to number 6 in the UK, number 13 on the US Billboard. This was sandwiched between Undercover and Dirty Work. Not a great album, but that's where it sits. As I say, 19th of February 1985. Jeff Beck's on this one as well. And a guy I've actually played with played keyboards on one track, Just Another Night, which I think was a single. A guy called Rabbit Bundrick, who I've met and I've played with, had the pleasure of playing with, and he's on this album. So She's the Boss, Mick's debut album. Everybody tells me actually that Wandering Spirit is Mick's best album, and I managed to pick it up on CD the other day, and it is a really good album actually. So that's number 4, Jack. There we go. And my final one, therefore, has got to be the wonderful Keith Richards, Main Offender. So Main Offender from 19th of October 1992, Keith's second album after Cheap Talk was his first one. So this is between Steel Wheels and Voodoo Lounge. Stephen Jordan plays drums, Waddy Wachau, Keith's old chums on guitar, Charlie Drayton on bass, and Ivan Neville on keyboards. But this is my favourite solo album from Keith. What's there been? There's been 3 now studio albums. This is the middle one, and there's some great tracks in this. I mean, 999. I think when Mick Jagger actually heard 999, he was livid with Keith because Keith said, because Mick said Keith should have held it back as a Stones track because it's so good, and it's a fantastic track. Wicked as It Seems, Eileen, brilliant track. Yap Yap, I love that. Hate It When You Leave. Really great album. I play this loads actually, and the box set came out earlier this year, which I've got, and it's superb. So there we are, Jack. So please subscribe to Jack. Let's get him over the 200 ASAP. I'm sure he'll get through that really quickly. And as I say, the prize is this $100 for Jack's local food bank. So it's for a really good cause. So please subscribe, Vinyl Martini Jack, and I'll put the link to his channel at the bottom in the comments. Okay, thank you.